What the hell? Goddamn wires all tangled up. Broadcasting live from 71-degree, extremely humid downtown Cleveland. It's station WDWL TV, home of not one, but 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and an Oscar. And yeah, we're brought to you by this dickhead here, Grumpy Vulture Productions. Man, we had a little bit of rain, just enough to kick the fucking humidity out of sight. I mean, it's only 71, but the humidity is like insane. And, you know, just enough rain to make everything wet. Not, you know, we need a good soaking is what we need. The last couple of rain showers that we've had have been like, you know, somebody wringing out a sponge. Although the nice thing is, fucking grass hasn't grown in over a month. Rob is getting a little antsy. He was like, gee, I haven't been able to cut the lawn. Well, you should be thankful. Because when he cuts lawns, he cuts 4. He does his, he does mine, he does the guy next door, and then the woman next door to him. Yeah, I mean, Kathy, it was a decent day. Not bad. Comfortable. And then we get 15, maybe 20 minutes of rain, and the humidity spikes. If you were to take a garden shovel and dig in like next to my hosta plants and turn the dirt over, maybe a quarter of an inch would be wet. The rest of the ground dry. Everything is dry as a bone. It's so dry that Marianne was watering her weeds. Nothing else. Nothing else. Just the weed patch behind her garage. I couldn't believe it. I looked out, I'm like, oh, man. Her peach tree is really producing this year. And as the peaches get larger, There is a big limb that hangs over my driveway that's getting lower and lower and lower. And it got to be the point, it's just starting to brush the roof of the car. Well, as I was pulling out yesterday, she was coming back from the store. And she finally noticed this big, huge limb is being dragged down. Come on, camera. I shouldn't. Come on, camera. Color adjust. Oh. So she noticed this big, huge limb. So she comes running over and she goes, I'll fix it, I'll fix it, I'll fix it. I thought maybe she was going to hack it off. I come back from the store and she's got this 7-foot 1x1 square piece of wood with a hole drilled in it and a zip tie. It's zip tied to the limb, and she's got the limb propped up with this little 1x1 like tomato steak. I'm thinking to myself, that ain't gonna do shit. Well, so far overnight it's held, but it looks goofy as hell. But it's zip tied to the limb in case the wind blows. The little 1x1 tomato steak won't fall off the tree. I could not believe when I looked outside yesterday and saw the sprinkler going back and forth over the weed patch. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Nothing else in the yard gets watered except the weed patch. I wish this camera would. Come on, color adjust already. It was fine until I started waving my hand and I screwed it up. Oh well. Maybe we'll do it that way. As a matter of fact, Joe, the neighbor on the other side of her, was standing out in his backyard, and I could see him looking behind the garage, and he just walked away shaking his head, and he must have been thinking the same as me. None of the plants are getting watered in the yard, none of the shrubs, just the weeds. Marianne's Healing Center. Oh, God bless her. I figure about another week, the deer will be here, because they seem to know when the peaches are ripe. And I could guarantee they'll figure a way of knocking that little 1x1 tomato stick out of the way to get that branch to come down and eat some peaches. Because I have the sneaking hunch that they will beat her to the harvest. 2 years ago when the tree was like that, it was amazing. They were just starting to ripen. And here's 3 or 4 deer standing in the driveway eating them. It's like they have radar. Because 2 years ago, when they were like this green, nothing. They were just starting to turn. I opened the side door, and there's 3 deer standing in the driveway eating peaches. Oh, Marianne will have a shit fit. Oh, when the funny thing was that one deer had its front legs on one of the other one's back so it could get the peaches off the higher limb. It was a riot. You know, I never think of keeping a camera handy because that would have been a priceless picture. I think what I'll do is put the camera by the side door. I have a hook by the side door that originally was for keys. I don't put my keys there. I'll hang the camera there. It'll be all set to go. I just have to be very careful when I open the door because I don't want to scare them away. Although, if I put the screen up in the living room window and clean the glass, I will have a direct shot. I'll do it that way. That way I won't open the door and scare them. Yeah, I'll raise the screen so that it's out of the way. And that way I'll be shooting through clear glass if I wash the glass first. Then, dummy me, you know, I told you I poked a hole in my windshield washer reservoir. And I was going to take the hot glue gun, and I'm thinking that ain't going to work because the glue will be getting wet, and I don't think it will hold. And then out of the blue, it hit me. Silicone sealer. I could close the hole up with silicone sealer because that's what they use to build aquariums. Plain, everyday, it's not special. So I ordered a tube of clear silicone sealer, and I'm going to fill the hole that I poked with a screwdriver, because in order to replace the tank, I have to pull the inner fender liner and some other shit. Take the wheel off, pull the fender liner. No, all I have to do is take out the front parking lamp, and the tank is right there with the little hole. And I'll just very carefully, slowly fill that hole in with silicone. And I'll be able to fill the tank again. Because I'm tired of the goofy light on the dash that keeps flashing. Washer fluid, washer fluid, washer fluid. I know. There are more stupid warning lights. There's a screen in the middle of the dash. When I start the car, the first thing says, check front brake pads. They're brand new. For some reason, we can't erase that out of the computer. So for about 60 seconds, I get check front brake pads, check front brake pads, check front brake pads. Then, the next thing to pop up is emissions workshop. Looking in the Chilton's manual, emissions workshop denotes several emission problems. I already know I have emission problems. That's why I own a 25-year-old car. So that flashes for about 60 seconds. Then, washer fluid, washer fluid, washer fluid. And they keep rotating. Brake pads, check brake pads, emissions workshop. You can't shut it off. Ryan has tried clearing that system 3 different times. It'll clear. And then about 2 or 3 days later, it comes back. I just ignore the shit out of it. The only one that I would pay attention to is the one that says low fuel alert. Low fuel alert. I never get that empty. As a matter of fact, right now I'm at half a tank. Tomorrow I'm going to go up to Sunoco, fill up with Sunoco 93, and see what kind of mileage I get out of that gas. Because I've already BP, Marathon, Shell. Although, I should change the spark plugs. And I should get it up on the freeway. I think. Here's what I did. When I renewed the registration, I ordered a brand new set of license plates. Because I'm an idiot. And I do it deliberately. You're supposed to take your renewal sticker and place it over the old sticker. No. I go around the license plate. It's like 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. No, it goes back even farther than that because the stickers have gone all the way around the license plate. I decided it would be smarter to order a brand new set of plates. All right, I paid $5 more to get 2 new plates. With a brand new license plate. I feel the police will not really notice. Right now, with all them stickers, my car is an eye catcher. I really feel that the police will go, oh, brand new license plate. He must have just bought it. And ignore me. I even had the handicapped logo removed from the plate because I've got the mirror placards. When the plate comes in, I'll show you. But my thinking was, with a brand new plate, the police won't give it a second look. I'm hoping. Because I want to take and get them windows fixed. And I want to get the key done and the key fob programmed. I think this would be the easiest, sneaky way of being able to drive. Because right now, with all them stickers, the police are like, holy shit. And then it gives them an excuse to run that plate. With a brand new plate, I don't think they'll give it a second look. I'm hoping. But tomorrow, we will be trying Sunoco 93. Which I could guarantee is going to be probably $5 a gallon. 93 octane is expensive no matter where you go. Goddamn car. It's a family sedan. It's not a goddamn Ferrari. But I don't want to screw the engine up. You know, it really surprised me. I thought for sure Grady Judd would have Natalie bring Ace in for a news conference. He didn't say anything in his Monday morning briefing. You know, every Monday morning he talks about some idiots they arrested. He didn't say a thing. Now, Ace went home on Sunday. I thought for sure Sheriff Judd would have mentioned that. I thought he would have Natalie bring Ace in for a press conference. I mean, the dog walked out of that veterinary office like nothing was wrong with him. I kind of liked in the video when they started giving him dog treats. Every time the package of treats got passed to another deputy, old Ace had his eye on the treats. Like, oh, now she's got them. Oh, he's got them. As a matter of fact, the last deputy to give him a treat, Ace got down on all three and was kind of like begging, I'm ready. It was cute when he did that. But he walked right out of that clinic, and I'll tell you what, for a minute he forgot that he had 3 legs. When he went to bail in the car, and then he kind of realized, uh-oh. But luckily Natalie helped him. Actually, I think it was her personal vehicle, because it was a pickup, and the seat was down, and she had a dog bed in the back. I thought for sure that she would have had her patrol car, but it was nice, the escort that Ace had home, because just about every canine unit in the area responded, and it was just car after car after car after car. He got a hero's welcome home. Like I say, he can't retire, because he's still got it in his head, I'm a working dog. So I hope that once he is healed, that they make an exception and allow him to ride. Because there is no way he can sit home knowing that his partner is going to work. But it's amazing how resilient that dog really is, to be near death, needing 2 units of blood, going through that 3-hour surgery, and 2 days later, walking out of the clinic. That is absolutely remarkable. 2 days after surgery, he walked out of there like nothing was wrong. To him, I got a little limp. I don't think he realizes he's missing a leg. Holy shit. Man, there's a big helicopter going over. That ain't no life flight. That ain't no life flight. That's got to be a military chopper. Holy shit. It was actually shaking, vibrating the house. I wish I would got a look at it. That was a big boy. That was no Metro life flight. When a helicopter goes over and you can feel the vibration in the house, you know that's a big boy. And I can still hear that thing. Man, of all times not to be able to look out a window. I wonder why we would have a military chopper flying around here. He's headed towards downtown. I can still hear that thing. That's how big that thing was. Yeah, they're probably taking aerial photographs of behind her garage. What the hell is all that shit back there? Of all things to water, the weeds. She's always out there manicuring too. Clipping here, clipping there, you know. Not to say that she doesn't manicure the rest of the yard, but she'll spend more first thing in the morning. She'll be back behind the garage manicuring. Then somewhere else. Although she needs to do a little manicuring up front. I'll tell you, she has a hedgerow around her front yard. It comes down the driveway, goes across by the sidewalk, and then up my driveway. They are all Rose of Sharon trees, and she keeps them clipped at 24 inches. Now, Rose of Sharon trees grow into trees. The hedge around her front yard is basically miniature Rose of Sharons. Matter of fact, they're all in bloom right now. It looks kind of cool. When she planted them, I asked her, I said, "What are you planting?" She said, "Rose of Sharon." I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I hate them goddamn things. Because I had them at my original house down the street. And if you don't pay close attention to them things, they grow like overnight. And when she told me she was going to make a hedge out of them, I laughed. And I'll tell you, it's pretty cool because they've all filled in. I would say they're about 18 inches in diameter, and it's a thick hedge. But she keeps them at 24 inches. And like I say, they're all in bloom right now, and it looks so cool because you got these little miniature trees all, and she's got them like 2 purple, 2 white, 2 purple, 2 white. I don't know if she deliberately planted them that way, but you got purple flowers, purple, white, purple, white, purple, white. Then she planted something kind of next to my driveway. It's on the inside of the hedge. They look like miniature buckeye trees. Because, like right now, they're getting like, they look like little buckeyes, but they're not. I got to ask her what they are. She's got 3 of them. And they look kind of cool because they only grow like 18 inches, but they look like little buckeye trees. Matter of fact, when I lived just down the street, there was a buckeye tree on the tree lawn. And it was probably maybe 12, 15 feet high. And a buckeye tree is messy. They really are. But I kind of liked it because we're the Buckeye State. I had a buckeye tree. I didn't plant it, it was there. One morning, I'm having coffee, and I hear... I look out front, and the city of Cleveland cut the son of a bitch down. And I walked out and I said, "Why did you cut that tree down? Don't you know what that tree is?" And the guy went, "Yeah, it's a buckeye tree." I said, "It's the state tree. Why did you cut it down?" "It's an unapproved tree lawn tree." Evidently, Rose must have planted it, not the city. It was an unapproved tree, so they cut it down. And then they dug out the stump, and the next summer they replaced it with, I don't know if it's an oak or a maple, some scrawny looking piece of crap. Because the guy told me, had it been on the other side of the sidewalk, it would have stayed. I was really tempted to get some buckeyes and try to grow one, but they are extremely hard to grow from a seed. And I found out from an arborist, because you'll see them growing wild all over the place. I'm like, why is it if I plant a buckeye, I don't get a tree? But if a squirrel digs a hole and plants a buckeye, a tree will grow. He said the squirrels crack the shell because a buckeye has an extremely hard shell. While they're getting ready to plant it, for some reason, they crack the shell. If you crack the shell, a buckeye tree will grow. So I am going to drive around, because in this neighborhood were a couple of buckeye trees back in the day. I don't know if they're still around. If I can find a buckeye tree, I will snatch up some buckeyes, and I will take a nutcracker and crack the shell and plant it and see what happens. I never knew that. You could take and dig a hole and pour 50 buckeyes in that hole, and all they'll do is rot in the ground. But if you crack the shell, all you gotta do is put a crack in it. Make sure the crack goes all the way through. A buckeye tree will grow. And that's why when a squirrel plants a buckeye, if he don't dig the thing up later on and eat it, a buckeye tree will grow. Go figure. I never knew that. I never knew that. you have to crack the shell. And a squirrel has jaws like a vice, and while they're carrying the shell around, they put a crack in it, and then they bury it. And then a tree grows. That's why you see so many wild buckeye trees. They're planted by squirrels. But I am going... There used to be one a couple blocks away from me. I'm going to drive over there and see if it's still there. Because right now is just about buckeye time. And I have that depression in my front yard where a tree used to be years ago. I will plant a buckeye right there. Although really what I want is a bamboo tree. Although Marianne told me if I go to a nursery to get what they call a clumping bamboo tree, not the one that I had up the street. Matter of fact, Marianne gave me that tree. It was about 3 foot tall. And I planted it in the area. There was an empty space right by the front porch. And it started to grow, and it was growing really cool. Well, a non-clumping bamboo tree will throw shoots. And bamboo, you can literally watch bamboo grow. Because in areas like Asia, Vietnam, where they have big bamboo forests, bamboo grows a foot a day. Well, I woke up one morning and there were these little things about 2 inches high sticking out of my front lawn. And there were like 20 of them. And I had no idea what they were. Well, the next day, they were like 4 inches tall. And then the next day, they were 8 inches tall. And there were buckeye trees growing all over the front yard. They were coming up everywhere. Well, that just so happened to be around the time when the 2 little bitches threw me out of the house. And the guy that bought it mowed down everything. Matter of fact, had I known he was going to do that, I would have dug out all my Shasta daisies and my decorative exotic grass and probably a couple of buckeye trees or bamboo trees. He called in a gardener and they just mowed everything down. Everything. From the front, from the sidewalk, all the way back to the house. Took out everything. Because I went down there after they destroyed everything. And I told the guy, I said, had I known you were going to do that, I'd have dug a lot of this stuff out and taken it with me. Because like the Shasta daisies that I had, I planted 4 plants, 1 on each corner. Because I had a a square in the middle of the front yard, and I had my big decorative grass, and then I put the Shasta. Well, they spread like crazy. And they ended up filling in and going all the way around that square. And they were beautiful when they bloomed. And the guy came in with a frickin' bulldozer. What the hell did he have? A bobcat. And just blitzed everything. It all went in the back of a dump truck and went right to a dump. And my irises. That was another thing that pissed me off. Because I had a planter. It was about 24 inches long. It was about 8 inches wide and maybe 8 inches deep. And I had gotten those irises from in front of a church they were tearing down. I dug them out, and I put them in this planter. And that's when I was in the apartment, and the planter was on the front porch. Well, the irises grew. They would never bloom. I brought them from Lakewood when I moved to the house on Clifton, and I kept them in the planter on the front porch. And they would grow, they wouldn't bloom. When I left Clifton and moved up the street, I had them on the front porch for 1 year. And then I decided I'm going to be here for a while. Not. Well, I was there 10 years. I dug a hole the size of the planter, and I put them in the ground. The next spring, they bloomed like crazy. So I mentioned this to the guy at the nursery, and he told me, yeah, they'll grow in a planter for years. But if you want them to flower, they have to be in the ground so that the roots can expand and gain nutrients to form the flowers. I never knew that. Here I'm thinking, I saw these things in bloom in front of the church. Why aren't they fucking blooming? Because they needed to be in the ground. And they were gorgeous because they were bright yellow with like what I called the brown beard. They were gorgeous. And the guy bulldozed them. I would have had them here. Come in with a bobcat, dug everything out, new topsoil, new grass. And they were they don't call them giants, because normal irises only grow about maybe 12 inches tall. These grew like 24, and the flowers were huge. And he bulldozed them. I would have had that decorative grass here, because I would have put it in that depressed area. I would have put the Shasta daisies around it like I had them. And over by the side of the porch, I'd have put the irises. Oh, yeah, irises have a beautiful aroma. You could, when I would open a window, you could smell the irises wafting through the house. It is an aroma exclusive to an iris. You can't confuse the aroma from an iris with a rose or anything else. They have their own special aroma. You know, but they're a pain in the ass to start because they're very picky about the depth that you plant that. It's not a bulb, rhizome. If it says an inch, you better not be an inch and a quarter. One thing with irises, they are very particular about the depth that you plant them. Not like tulips. God, I remember I bought a bag at Homeless Depot. There were like 300 tulip bulbs in this bag. And, you know, it says plant them, I don't know, 4 inches deep or what. I just dug a hole and poured them along. I dug a trench and just poured them all in. And it was amazing. The next spring, they all bloomed. And I had a neighbor across the street. Boy, she would measure, you know. If it said 4 inches, the hole was exactly 4 inches. Me, I just dug a trench in front of the house, poured all of them in, packed them down, done. Yeah, irises, as a matter of fact, you could almost set them on top of the ground. That's how shallow you plant that bulb or that rhizome. Because you really can see the roots. It's like the rhizome is sitting on top of the ground and you can see the roots go down. You don't put them on. That's where people make the mistake. They dig a hole, they drop them in, they pack the dirt on them. You just ruined them. You killed them. They are very particular about the depth. I mean, you could almost just take a stick and draw a line in the soil and put the rhizomes in and just put a little dirt over them, and they'll grow. It's one of the few plants that is that particular about planting depth. Like I say, I've taken tulips and daffodils, dig a hole, pour them in. Pfft. Now, I have a beautiful daffodil patch in the backyard in the spring. I would like to transplant them to the front yard. The major problem is, now that they've bloomed, I have no idea where they're at. I have a rough idea. What I'm going to do next spring, when they start to come up, I'm going to dig them up and stick them out front. And hopefully they bloom. I've been told you really can't move daffodils until like the fall. But right now, I have no idea where to dig because I should have marked them. I should have marked every clump with a stick, and that way I would know where to dig. But right now, I have no idea. Man, I got to put that fan on high. Holy shit, the humidity is cranking. Jesus Christ. I'm in here sweating my ass off. It always happens that way. You get about 15, 20 minutes of rain, and it was like nothing rain. Just enough to make everything a little bit damp. And it's 71, and with the way the humidity is right now, you'd think it was 91. Jesus. And there's like no breeze blowing because I have the window wide open. And there's like no air coming in at all. Oh, I knew I wanted to mention something. I'm sure you've seen the commercial for that air conditioner or air cooler. It looks like it's about 24 inches long. It's a little box. And it says, lowers temperature within 90 seconds. As seen on TV, you know. I looked at it, $59.99. You can hang it on the wall, you can set it on a desk, you know. I'm like, that piece of shit can't work. Marianne's son bought one for his office. He has an office in his house. He did not want a window air conditioner. So he bought one of them things. I said, did he send it back? She said, no, he ordered 2 more. They work like they show on TV. He said it's amazing how that thing cools a room. It's some, he understands it because he's some kind of mechanical engineer. It's some space-age technology, like they use up in the space station. He said it works unbelievable. Now I'm waiting for the stupid commercial so that I could figure out where to buy one. Although maybe I should just ask him for the website. He said he bought that long, the one they show, with a remote control. He said it's phenomenal. He ordered 2 more. he said it's phenomenal how fast that little thing cools a room. And he goes, there's really nothing to it. You look inside, there's not like, it's some sort of space-age technology that NASA has been using for like 15 years. Of course, a lot of stuff that we get on the market was used by NASA for 10 or 15 years, like super glue, Velcro. Velcro was used by NASA for 10 years before we got it on the market. Super glue. Used by NASA and the Army and the Navy before we got it on the market. Freeze-dried, which you don't hear much of anymore, but freeze-dried food. NASA was freeze-drying food 10, 12 years before freeze-dried food hit the market. And the big thing was Folgers, freeze-dried coffee crystals. I don't know if they still freeze-dry it. I haven't heard a freeze-dried Folgers commercial in years. But they have been using these little air coolers up in the International Space Station for years. And I guess maybe it's when like the patent expires or something. I don't understand it. But maybe NASA finally releases the information to the general public. And, you know, I mentioned I wanted to buy one, and I was like, if the son of a bitch don't work, then I have to return the thing. Well, now I know they work like they say on TV. So I'm thinking of buying one. Matter of fact, I think what I'll do is I'll ask Marianne to get the website from her son and buy one. Now that I know it works like on TV or on the internet. See, with me watching YouTube all the time, the commercials 90% of the time don't make it to general TV. Now, this air conditioner is possible. I don't watch local TV. Maybe if you watch your, ABC, NBC, CBS, maybe they run that commercial. I don't know. But now I'm going to be waiting for it to be run on the internet, because I will have a pad of paper right next on my nightstand in case I don't get the information from Marianne's son. Yeah, when we were talking yesterday, she goes, you ever seen that commercial for that air cooling unit? I said, I've seen a lot of commercials. What one you talking about? She says, oh, it's about 24 inches long, and it's supposed to cool a room within 90 seconds. Oh, yeah, that piece of shit. She goes, why do you call it? I said, oh, you know, they do a lot of AI on those commercials. She goes, my son bought one. And I said, did he return it? She goes, hell no, he ordered 2 more. She said, it works phenomenal according to him. And with him being a mechanical engineer, evidently it works phenomenal. But he said, like, there's no compressor, like an air conditioner has. It's got the air conditioner condenser, and there's a lot of hidden electronics. But he says you turn it on, and you can literally see the frost starting to form on the condenser. I would tend to see what the voltage draw is. If the voltage draw isn't that much, I have a big DC to AC converter that I could put in the Passat, and I could buy one of them and stick it on the dash and cool the car. Yeah, it's a hefty unit. Well, it's big enough where if I wanted to, I could run a small microwave inside the car. And I would tend to think the amperage draw on that thing isn't that much. Since I don't have AC and I can't put the windows down. Although I could see me pulling in the highway patrol station and the cop going, what the hell is on the dashboard of that car? It's an air conditioner. Get it out. As a matter of fact, I noticed something. I just happened to notice it today. I've got 2 sets of fog lights mounted on the front bumper. I have my green ones, and then I have those ones that they call ice white, but they look blue. I am going to have to figure a way of covering them fuckers up when I go to get the inspection. Because the lenses look blue. And the highway patrol runs blue lights. And I don't want a trooper going, you can't have them. But when you turn them on, the color is called ice white. When I bought the fog lamps, it's called ice white. When you turn them on, there is very little blue hue. But the lenses are dark blue. So I have to figure a way of covering them up without it being too obvious. Because I don't want to take them off. I spend too much time putting them on. Matter of fact, I laid everything out so that I could put that siren speaker right on that mounting plate. But I don't dare do that until after the inspection. I can't wait to put that speaker on so I can use my air horn and scare the shit out of people. And see, I didn't want it to be obvious. So I bought the flat speaker. Now, on the shitbox, it's the regular horn speaker. You know, the normal round. The one I bought, and they used them on police vehicles, and it looks like a little square box. It don't look like a speaker per se. And the way I mounted the fog lights, I can put the speaker right in the middle of them. It wouldn't draw that much attention, except to a state trooper. Because he would notice that. Why do you have a siren speaker on the front of your car? I like an air horn. Yeah, the problem is I can't put anything on it. I had to take all the LED light, I had them, the ones that with suction cups, they stick to the windshield, the undercover car lights. You can't see them until they're turned on. I had them front and back. Last weekend, I took them out. Because I can't draw any attention, until after September 16th. Then I can put the shit on the car. Right now, it has to look like a normal sedan that I'm not driving. Although, on the doors it says WDWL TV. I had them decals made. If he asks me, I'm going to say, well, once I get it titled, it's going to be my advertising car for my YouTube channel. But in the meantime, it's got to look like a normal, everyday, undriven car. Because I ordered even better I like the way Amazon ships shit. Look at that. They tore the fuck out of the box. That's the way I received it, all ripped to shreds. Luckily, the lights weren't damaged. These are the new ones that are going in the car. Look how sneaky these are. But I can't put them in until after the inspection. These are real sneaky lights. Got them on sale, too. Come on, come on. I hate these boxes the way they... There. Be nice. Yeah, I plugged them in the cigarette lighter and tried them out. I took them out of the box. Holy Christ, are they bright. Not to mention they've got like 30 different flash patterns. Oh my God. They're unbelievable. I can't wait to put them in the car. But I can't until after the 16th of September. Hopefully the weather holds out. I don't want to be freezing my ass off putting all that shit back in the car that I had to take out. Luckily for the siren speaker, I drilled the holes and I ran the wires. So all I have to do is bolt it to the plate and plug the speaker wires in. Whoop, 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 whoop. No, whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, maybe if I get in kind of a deserted area, like maybe at the shopping center, go up there at night. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Weep, wow, weep, wow. Be my luck. I'll be at one end of the plaza and there'll be a police car at the other. They'll come racing back going, where's the siren go? I didn't see nothing. I just happened to be perusing through Amazon. And, you know, finding green and white lights isn't that easy. And I came across these. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because they had every color. They had blue and white, blue and red, blue and amber, green and white, green and amber, all white, all blue, all red, all green. So I ordered the green and whites, and oh my God. I also ordered, these are even sneakier. Oh, come on. More wires. These will be going on the grill. They're double stick tape. They will mount to the grill. And these are green and white, bright as shit, with 27 different flash patterns. They're long strip lights. And I went out and I did a test fit, and they'll fit the grill perfect. There's a pair. So one will be at the top of the grill, and one will be at the bottom of the grill. So besides the ones that go in the windshield, These will be in the front grille, and they are bright. But these can't get put on until September 16th. Well, September 17th. Oh, shit. Now I got... How the hell did I get that tangle up in the headphone wire? Oh, my God. Got them on sale, too. So, I have the lights for the back window. And now I've got the new lights for the front window and the grill. And once I get the car laid out, I will take and post a video and try out my new camera. I didn't show you guys that, did I? The new micro camera? Oh, man. You talk about something that's cooler than owl shit. Hang on a minute. Let me go grab it. Don't want to trip on the wires. Come on, get out of the way. Come on, get on, open up. A micro. And the neat thing is, it has a screen on the back that you can see what you are filming, but it's a micro. It is so cool. I saw a guy filming with this on YouTube. There was a guy doing filming, and then there was another guy filming with one of these. And I couldn't figure out what the hell he was filming with, because I'd never seen a camera, a video camera like this. So it took some research. There is the screen. Unfortunately, you really can't see. But like right now, it's filming me. And this screen, the clarity is unbelievable. I got this brand new $28. Now this thing originally sells for $60. It was the last green one, so the guy reduced it to sell it because they come in black, they come in orange and white and green. Well, it said last one reduced for quick sale. So I bought it. I experimented with it. I did a little filming in the house and film boots. And unbelievable. This little goofy camera works better than my big handheld video camera, my camcorder. It's unreal. So once I get the car laid out, I will take my mini camera and do some filming. You talk about modern technology. Remember the old VHS cameras? Look what it's gotten down to. And it films on a little micro SD card that plugs in right here. You talk about the wonders of modern technology. Absolutely unbelievable. Something this small films better than a professional camera. I can't wait to get the Passat laid out. Oh, come on. Okay, I have to latch it first. Yeah, I have a mono stick that basically extends. Whoop. There. It extends 36 inches. And you can put the camera up on top of the mono stick. I wish I could have got one in green. All right. Get in there. Get in there. I even bought a new camera case. Temu. $20. A camera case like this, if I buy it off of Amazon, is $75. And this is heavy duty. It's not cheap Japanese crap. Clearance. American seller. Like I needed another camera case, but this one holds a lot of stuff. Yeah, you know, Kathy, when I got that camera. Now, idiot me, I still have 2 VHS cameras, Panasonics, and I have 2 VHS-C, JVC cameras. Now, the C stands for compact or cassette. You put a cassette in the camera, you film whatever you want, you take the cassette out, and it drops into an adapter that is a VHS sized adapter. Like a regular, you flip a little door open, you drop the cassette in, and it's a full-size VHS cartridge. And you put it in your VHS player, and it plays like normal. I have two. I have two Panasonic big boys, and I have two JVC VHS-C cameras. I pulled out one of the Panasonics, and I set it on the table, and I set that little fucking micro camera next to it, and I was like, talk about technology. This little dinky shit can films better than that VHS camera. The modern technology. They're somewhere over here in the cabinet. I have a pair of sunglasses. Regular, that have a camera mounted in them. The camera's mounted right in the center. You can film, and people don't know you're filming them. They call them spy camera. You put the sunglasses on. You walk like in a store, and you just click on the arm. And whatever you look at, you're filming. And nobody knows. There's no red light flashing, no warning. The only way they could tell is if they got right up and like, what is that dot in the center? The lens is so tiny, you can almost see it. The picture clarity is unbelievable. I'll dig them out. They're in the cabinet over here. They're spy glasses. I was tempted, because I won't be seeing Annie. I was tempted to go in the store and video her so I had something to remember her by, but that's sneaky. I think I'll just ask to get a couple of pictures with her when she leaves, but yeah, they're regular sunglasses. They look kind of designer. And if you want to film something, you just tap, film, tap. You get a little thing on the inside. That's how you know you're filming. There is a very, very itty-bitty tiny red light on the inside. So you tap, the little itty-bitty red light comes on, you know you're filming, and it videos on an SD card, and then you tap, and you turn it off, and when you get home, you take the little SD card out, and you stick it in an SD card reader, and there's your video. Unbelievable. Matter of fact, I have two sets. Two different manufacturers. One I like a little better than the other. But they're regular designer sunglasses, and nobody would know you are doing a video. Unless they knew what to look for. And nobody is going to get up in your face to see that little itty tiny camera that like the size of a pinhead. But the clarity in the video and the sound is unbelievable. Because there's a microphone on the opposite side. So you not only get video, you get sound. You could be talking to somebody, they have no idea you are filming them. They're that sneaky. I bought them as a joke. I tried them out once, just walking around the neighborhood. I was blown away by the clarity. Although, look at the camera lenses in your cell phone. They're little itty bitty things. You know, like the front-facing camera on your cell phone is this little itty bitty dot. The average, people don't even realize that little dot is there, but that's your front-facing camera. The one in the sunglasses is even smaller than this. Like I say, unless somebody knew that those were video sunglasses, but nobody'd know. I could be walking around videotape because you get an hour on a charge. I could video for an hour with a pair of sunglasses. And yeah, Kathy, who'd have thought we'd have this? When good old Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak invented a computer, nobody had the idea it would come down to this. And if I could figure it out, and somebody had a camera on the other end, we could see one another and talk back and forth. I can't figure out how to do that. But I could have up to 6 people in a podcast. You see it all the time with different people talking back and forth. Who would have thought? I mean, I had one of the first I had a compact. No, I had a Tandy TRS-80. That was the size of a steamer trunk. And the floppy disk drive was just as big because it had 8-inch floppy disks. I wish I would have saved one. They were 8 inches floppy disk. And then from the pardon me, from the Tandy TRS-80, which was all MS-DOS, I got the compact with Windows 3.1. You talk about taking that computer and comparing it to today. That computer did nothing. Had little graphics, had a little bit of that. Nothing like today. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I remember when I bought that TRS-80. I mean, it was gigantic, and you had to make sure you had a fan blowing because it got so hot. It had to be cooled. And when I bought that thing, all of my friends are like, "What the hell did you?" This is a passing fad. You wasted your money on that piece of shit. Computers. People aren't going to have computers. They're in for businesses. Now look. And there are more and more microcomputers today than there are big desktops. Go to your doctor's office. Look on the back of the monitor. A microcomputer is hanging on the back. It's mounted to the back of the monitor. I have a free subscription to PC Liquidators. It is amazing how many microcomputers that do more than this desktop that I bought 3 years ago. They have more memory. They have faster processors. And they're little itty-bitty things. I have a small form factor computer over in Studio One. The new ones are smaller than that one. And they do 3 times as much. They're little dipsy. They're about the size of a book. And the processors are unbelievable. I wish I could make the print larger. You know, like the other day when I went to see my primary care, he walked in with a laptop. All my files. He didn't even go to the computer at the desk. He come in with a laptop. MacBook something. Matter of fact, he was carrying it by the screen. He picked it up. It must not have weighed much. It was a Mac. That's the way doctors are today. I mean, remember the days of charts? There'd be a chart hanging at the end of your bed, and the doctor'd handwrite all kind, and the chart was about that thick. Now they walk in with a laptop. The nurses walk in with a laptop. As a matter of fact, in some hospitals, at the clinic, they come in with an iPad. Your chart is now on a memory chip. Like my doctor, there was a thumb drive in the USB port. And I said to him, joking, "Is that my medical file?" He went, "Yeah." Picked up his MacBook, and there's a little thumb drive hanging out the side. He goes, "Yeah, and when I'm done, because this will transmit to the main computer, so it will be in the memory banks at the data center." But he says, "I unplug this little thumb drive and it goes in an envelope in your file." He said, "Takes up a lot less room. Instead of a big file, it's a 4x6 envelope." Next time he goes to see me, plugs the thumb drive in. If there's any new test information, he downloads it from the main data center, and it's on my thumb drive. That's your medical file now, a thumb drive. Unbelievable. That's what we've come to. No more charts and like MRIs and CT scans and X-rays. They put them on a CD. Because he said the envelope is big enough to hold a CD. So all my MRIs and CTs and everything are on a CD in the envelope, and then he just drops the thumb drive in. There's Grumpy's file right there. That's what technology has come to. And if I could get a bigger graphics card, I would order one of those new microcomputers from PC Liquidators, because they're like 75% off because they're reconditioned. It comes with the standard graphics card from the factory. They can't change them. That's the only bad part about solid state storage and so on. Like right now, I could update the graphics card in this computer, which I don't have to. And those little microcomputers, you can't. Of course, you know, they're mainly for business. But to think back, no different than cell phone. I started out with the first cell phone, the Motorola Brick, that basically did nothing. It made a call, it received a call if I could get a signal. Look at what cell phones have come to today. You are basically carrying a mini computer in your pocket. I was told mobile news crews, which basically consists of just one reporter. No big truck. They send a reporter out with an iPhone. And they put the iPhone on a tripod and they film their news story with an iPhone. No more big camera, sound guy. No. A girl goes out to do a local interest story, sets up a tripod, she mounts her iPhone to it, connects with the station over Wi-Fi, and she does her news story talking to her iPhone. And you're watching it on your flat screen thinking there's a cameraman standing. No. They're doing away with a lot of the cameramen because the iPhone's for business. Now, you can't buy one of these. These phones are only sold to TV stations or news crews because they have the capability of transmitting the signal back to the station to do a live. Here, go do your news story. Take your phone. Don't forget the tripod. Yeah, now, you know, if it's a breaking news like a fire or something, hurricane goes through, then they send the truck with the sound guy and the cameraman and the reporter. You know, I love when reporters in a hurricane have to stand there and almost get blown away to prove that there's a hurricane. You know, look, folks, oh shit, that house just blew off its foundation. Hold on, I gotta hang on to this pole. But if it's like a common interest story, like some kid plants a Jack and the Beanstalk, they send the girl out with her iPhone, she puts it on the tripod, does her news story. They don't even use the big-ass microphones anymore. They have them small little lavalier microphones. You'll see. You know, they're about that big. No more stick a mic in your face because the lavaliers are so sensitive. And the reason I know a lot of this is my buddy is semi-retired from Fox 8. And him and I talk every now and then, and because he's a cameraman. Camera. Big honking camera. And he said, a lot of your news stories are fucking iPhones. And I said to him, I didn't think an iPhone could do that. He said, well, these are commercial. They're like $5,000 a piece. But if they want to send a reporter to a kindergarten class, don't forget your iPhone. She gets there, gets it set up, dials in with the station. Are we live? 3, 2, 1, go. Hi, I'm Susie at the first grade class at Beats Elementary, and one of the kids here just ate a crayon and lived. And we're going to talk to him now. Soon as he wipes that orange crayon off his mouth. Look at the iPhone, Sonny. That's the technology today. Microcomputers, micro this, micro that. Sometime, just for the fun of it, look on eBay at spy cameras. They've got one that is basically a little itty-bitty cube. A little tiny plastic cube that don't look like it would do shit. But it's like a nanny cam. You put it on a shelf, hardly anybody would see it. Connects via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And you can watch somebody walk in a room with this little itty-bitty cube that don't look like shit. And they're not that expensive. Unbelievable. You can spy on people today and they never know it. You could have a camera in every goddamn room and nobody would know it if you had it hidden well enough. I know, because I was tempted to buy some when the vampire was living here. Did I mention my brand new fucking shop vac is gone? Another item that was bartered for whoopee time. I used it once. When I did the original vacuuming of the Passat. And then I put it back in the box. And I want to do a nice cleaning of the Passat. And the other day I walked in the living room and went, well, another item that disappeared. Yep. My brand new Stanley 1.5 gallon shop vac. Gone. Now I have to buy another one. Piss me off. I used it once. I got done using it. I cleaned it all out. I wrapped everything up. Put it back in the box it came in. Gone. That was an expensive vacuum job. Cost me $59 to vacuum that car. One time. Gone. Along with my Ryobi brand new power sprayer, the garden sprayer, my brand new Ryobi angle grinder, gone. I noticed one of my video cameras is gone because I went looking for it. And what pisses me off is I had it in a professional camera mount. Somebody has got my video camera with a nice professional camera mount. The shop vac really pissed me off yesterday. Because I know right where I put it. And it's one of them you walk and you go to grab and you're like, it was here. It's nowhere to be found. I thought maybe it might have got moved. Well, it got moved to somebody else's house, not mine. Go on. Is your appetite gone? No? How long you been sitting there? Quite a while, maybe. I didn't even notice you. Why don't you step in the room a little more? He's sitting in the hallway staring at me. I didn't notice you. Are you hungry? Oh, I got a reaction there. He knows that word, hungry. All right. Wow, we did go overtime. Let me make sure the volume's turned on before I do this, because otherwise I'll blow somebody's eardrums out. Yep. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Been a fun night. Went a little over tonight. We'll meet again right here tomorrow night. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Be safe. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. See you, bye. Bye.